In a competitive world, average won't cut it. The Success Launch Point shows you how to stand out, deliver massive value, and rise above the crowd. With on-demand courses, expert coaching, and a community focused on growth, you'll accelerate your career and your paycheck. It's time to level up. Check out modernobserver.com/launchpoint.
Sweeping victories for Democrats. The Supreme Court hears arguments on tariffs, business changes for Apple and IBM, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani was elected New York City mayor Tuesday night, as Democrats also won the governorships of Virginia and New Jersey. Mamdani easily beat former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, a fellow Democrat, and Republican Curtis Sliwa to take office in a race that drew a massive turnout. In Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger was declared the winner over GOP Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, becoming the first woman to lead the state. In Virginia's Attorney General race, Democrat Jay Jones defeated GOP incumbent Jason Miyares after resisting calls to drop out over text messages expressing violence towards Republicans. In New Jersey's governor's race, Democrat Mikey Sherrill beat Republican Jack Ciattarelli, keeping the state's governor's mansion in Democratic Party hands. Also last night, California voters approved Proposition 50, a ballot measure that allows Democrats to redraw the state's congressional districts without using the Independent Redistricting Commission. Democrats outspent Republicans nearly 2-1 in the 4 states. The government shutdown is now the longest in American history, topping the 35-day shutdown that began in 2018 after the Democrats voted against reopening the government for the 14th time. On Monday night, 10 Democratic senators reportedly engaged in serious talks about negotiating with Republicans to temporarily fund the government. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has said he is optimistic an agreement can be made this week. The Supreme Court will hear arguments today about whether President Trump's sweeping tariffs are constitutional. Legal scholars say that the case could rewrite the country's understanding of executive power. Oral arguments will center on Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which was passed in 1977 to keep executive actions in check after the Vietnam War. The IEEPA grants the president the ability to investigate, regulate, or prohibit international economic transactions by declaring a national emergency. The Trump administration declared 3 national emergencies to justify tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China, which prompted the first lawsuit. In total, Trump has declared 9 national emergencies since taking office in January. A final ruling is expected by June 2026. As Hezbollah rebuilds its forces and Lebanon is accused of failing to enforce the ceasefire terms brokered last year, Israel's defense minister has fired off a warning to Beirut. On Sunday, Defense Minister Israel Katz said, "Hezbollah is playing with fire and the president of Lebanon is dragging his feet," he said. The Lebanese government's commitment to dismantle Hezbollah's weapons and remove it from southern Lebanon must be realized. Enforcement will continue and deepen. We will not allow a threat to the residents of the north. The Israel Defense Forces is weighing broader operations against the Iran-backed terrorist group after repeated violations of the truce. At least 66 people were killed and hundreds of thousands of others forced to flee their homes in the central Philippines, the authorities said, after Typhoon Kalmaegi brought destructive winds and devastating flooding on Tuesday to a region still reeling from a deadly earthquake. Many of the victims had drowned, while some died from fallen trees, electrocution, and landslide. said Junie Castillo, a spokesman for the National Office of Civil Defense. More than 380,000 people had been displaced, many evacuating before Kalmaegi made landfall, he said. Apple is preparing to enter the low-cost laptop market for the first time, developing a budget Mac aimed at luring away customers from Chromebooks and entry-level Windows PCs. The new device, designed for students, businesses, and casual users, will target people who primarily browse the web, work on documents, or conduct light media editing, according to people familiar with the matter. Apple is also targeting would-be iPad buyers who might prefer a traditional laptop experience instead. Jeep maker Chrysler is recalling approximately 320,000 hybrid vehicles in the U.S. over concerns that high-voltage batteries may fail internally and lead to a vehicle fire. A document posted Monday by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration showed that the recall covers 320,065 Jeep Wrangler and Jeep Grand Cherokee models manufactured for sale between 2020 and 2026 by Chrysler, a unit of automotive giant Stellantis. Battery failure may result in fires in those vehicles while parked or driving. Chrysler said in the document the automaker advised owners of models involved in the recall to park outside and away from structures and not to charge their vehicles pending a remedy currently under development. IBM will cut thousands of workers this quarter while it continues to shift the focus of its business to higher growth software and services. We routinely review our workforce through this lens and at times rebalance accordingly, a company spokesperson said. In the fourth quarter, we are executing an action that will impact a low single-digit percentage of our global workforce. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Exvadio Podcast Network at exvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.